Welcome Motivation Sunday. Welcome Motivation Sunday.
Welcome to another edition of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. I am going to tell you, hey, the winter has finally gone away, and we're supposed to be in spring, but summer, hey, just showed up today. And I am so lucky. I am Kevin McLemore. I am your show host. Hey, this show is something special. It originally started with a group of my friends that are now my co-hosts, Gilda, Christopher, Denise, Curtis Battles, PJ, and Vanessa. We all had these quotes every single day. My first thing is like, focus on the step, not the staircase. And we're always wondering, Kevin, I had over 300 motivational quotes I had created for the contents of my book. Didn't want the show to be all about me. So we got together. Based on our interpretation and perspective, each week, one of my co-hosts, they bring a quote. And based on our interpretation perspective, we talk about how that quote lands on us. And ladies and gentlemen, we meet every single Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're probably the only show that we welcome new people. So each week, there's someone different that becomes a co-host on a global podcast, Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. And so without any further ado, we're going to ask Christopher, the voice of our show, to go ahead and give our quote. And by the way, Vanessa Vita, she brought the quote today. So, Christopher, if you do not mind, what's the quote for today?
My pleasure, Kevin. The quote for the day is, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you.
All right. So, I just think, I'm thinking when I first read this quote, I wanted to ask myself, is that how many times have I wanted something in life but never truly asked for?
Mm-hmm.
I asked myself how many times I prayed for change, but never stopped in seeking what things would bring me or what those asks would be or how difficult it would be. I often ask myself how many doors that I had knocked on and told myself, no, that no one's going to open it. So this quote reminds me that life does reward persistence, faith, and action. Asking is not weakness, it's courage. Seeking is not confusion, it's growth. And knocking is not desperation, it's belief. And sometimes the hardest part of life is continue to believe after disappointment, heartbreak, or setbacks, or unanswered prayers. But both are good and both are bad in moments. Life teaches us something important about victories that build confidence and that the struggles build character. The setbacks build patience. And through it all, we learn to keep moving forward. So now that I stopped thinking, let me go ahead and turn the mic over to someone that's a lot more intelligent than me, that speaks a lot more eloquent than myself. Miss Vanessa Vita, how does this quote and how did it attach itself to you? And I think it's from Matthew 7:7. I just want to make sure I have that, if I'm right or wrong.
Correct. Yes. And grand rising, grand riches, and grand love to everyone. This really hit home just because people live in fear. And most times we don't ask questions because we've already predicted the rejection. But do you really know? No, you don't. So you have to ask. Just like as I am a mother, my children constantly ask, Mommy, can I have my phone? Mommy, can I play this game? Mommy, can I do this? Mommy, can I do? And I say, no. Eventually, I do get tired of saying the N-O word, and I give in. Maybe it's timing, maybe it's frustration, whatever it may be. But also, as women, we live in fear. We were taught to be silent. We were taught to just wait for it to be given to us. But we have to step up and ask. And I see it in my children. I see it when I do ask, I actually receive. You might not always get what you want, but you get an inch closer to what you want or what you're trying to achieve. So when you ask, you're unlocking the opportunities to wealth, to career, to advancement, to direction, and the true purpose of where you're supposed to be going and what you in your heart want. So don't ask permission, just ask the question to receive, and receive it beautifully and willingly because you deserve it. And with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Kevin.
All right. Ask and you shall receive. But you got to ask it fully. Your ask has to be big. And a lot of times, because of fear of rejection, fear of failure, we seem to modify our ask, knowing that long after the conversation or that person has gone, all of a sudden in reality, we said, oh, I wish I had said this or whatever. You know, do you want $1 million? Well, I can give you $1 million. I'll write it on a piece of paper. I just gave you $1 million. All right. So it, again, it's the same way this show is, based on perception and interpretation of what your ask will be. So if you actually want love, go ahead and define what love means to you and find someone that can deliver that. But you also got to make sure you can't ask what you're not willing to give. So with that said, like I said, we got a lot more people on this show is a lot smarter than me. You know, I'm always going to yield the mic over to Curtis Battles and all my other beautiful co-hosts. And I'm always curious of, you know, a young entrepreneur. And I'm going to tell you, in order to leave the common everyday workplace when you work on someone else's dreams and you step out into the world to chase your own, imagine yourself looking or standing at the edge of the beach and looking over the ocean. There's a horizon line. You know, when you want to unshackle yourself from someone else's dream, someone else's purpose, and you set sail for that horizon line, the world as an entrepreneur is open to you. It is yours. Sail towards that horizon line and see what's on the other side and live your dream. And that's the reason why I have so much respect for Mr. Curtis Battles, you know, entrepreneur, educator, good friend, faith healer, wonderful husband, grandpa, you know, to about 30, 40, 50 little kids. So Curtis, I'm picking on you a little bit this morning. How did this quote land on you?
Well, first of all, happy Sunday to all. It's always a joy being with this esteemed group. And Kevin, you're giving me too many props. I'm blushing if you could tell me and see me, but I'm not sure you can ever know that right away.
Hey, we blush. Okay. It's just our smile radiates bigger than what we're holding back. We let it go.
Yeah. So it's interesting because this quote is something that has been at the top of my mind now for the last month or so. And so it is like the universe is speaking to me directly, and this is just yet another instance of that. So the ask and it shall be given to you, and you shall find it, knock and it shall be opened unto you. So to me, this is somewhat about vibrations. So whatever you ask for will immediately be given to you. The question is, are you have that positive vibration and are you open to receiving it? Because sometimes it's right there, it's right over the horizon, but you just are in a bad spot. You know, if at one end of the scale is, I have overwhelming joy every day and nothing can ever take me out of what I call the vortex, that good and happy spot where you are and everything is good. And then at the other end is, oh my God, life is awful. Look what happened on TV. Oh, that person or that price, I can't believe they did it to me. It's unfair. It's not right. As long as you stay in that vortex, and I've gotten much better at feeling when people are starting to pull me out and saying, nope, I'm not going. And you can do it because you use meditation. You can do it because you have your little morning routine that helps you before you pick up your phone and start doom scrolling. You have set your intentions for the day and what you want to do. And in the world of entrepreneurship, you keep pushing forward no matter what. And there'll be a point. I feel like I'm right at the cusp of that breakthrough that is going to help make a difference, not just for me, not just for my family and whatever material goods I have here on this earth before I go to a higher power, but I've been given a mission by God. I am trying to figure out every day what that mission is, how I'm supposed to help people, how I'm supposed to make them feel better in life, how I'm supposed to bring that joy that I hope my smile does to everybody who tunes into this, and of course, all my co-hosts. And so, to the extent, some of it is, yes, having $1 million, but it's not because I need $1 million to buy a bunch of stuff, but it's then I can create a scholarship for young entrepreneurs, or I can be able to teach something at a university, whatever that is that will help pay it forward. But I have to finish my assignment before my time here is done. And so that's what I think about every day. And that's what this quote, how it landed on me.
It's amazing. People are not taught patience. Learning patience while waiting for the right seasons it's hard to do for many people. We live in a society where we want instant gratification. All right, and I think things that you truly appreciate in life comes on delay. And when you look at this quote, you can knock on as many doors as you want, and you may at sometimes feel like you're knocking on the wrong door. But each and every day, we're knocking on heaven's door. All right, and the gift we have is the life in order to deal with the struggles every single day, build resilience, and also stay true to our faith and create hope, not only in our own surroundings, but in the circle of people that we trust inside that circle. And you, young brother, you do that every single day. PJ said this a long time ago, and I've been using it, PJ, is that when I walk out of the room, I want to make sure the person that I was talking to is a little taller than they were when I left. Not anything for me, but it's the unselfishness of giving your time, your knowledge, and your love. When I talk about success, when I talk about giving, it's like, you're not seeking anything in return, because you get more in the return when you see Denise, when she walks out into the world and she talks about her aspirations in order to be not at the head of someone else's table. She's bringing her own chair and the table. All right. And she's bringing people along with her that are like-minded, that want to see difference. So even though I set up Denise, I'm going to go to Gilda and see how this quote lands on Gilda, since her husband is the voice of today's show. Christopher, you want to set Gilda up and give her the quote today?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm going to set her up. She'll hit me. But I will offer the quote. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you.
All right, Matthew 7:7.
Matthew 7:7.
Grand Rising, everyone.
Right.
Now, the quote to me, I'll break it down to you. Ask, seek, knock, receive. Find, okay, simple as that. And find the door will open. Yeah, will open.
I didn't set you up. Right?
No.
All right. She said the door. She said, for those of you, she said, ask,
Seek.
and it shall be given to you. She said, seek, then knock, and the door will be open. All right. Like I said, what are we all searching for? We all say success, but are we really ready for success? Are we really ready? How many people have you seen? You see it every year. There's an NBA draft, NFL draft, a Major League Baseball draft. There's an Oscar or some type of award, and then 2 weeks later, you read a headline: they've crashed and burned. They've made another poor choice decision. The relationship has fallen apart. They missed picking up their children from school because they were delayed. Or they were driving and they were texting and the worst thing happened or whatever, or they failed to fill up their gas tank and now they're stuck on the side of the road. Are you really ready for success? Is your ask big enough? When you seek our opportunities, are you looking for a door that's closed? Or are you looking for a door that's opening? All right, because they're never open for you. You got to push that son of a gun around. And I'm going to tell you, this person has been knocked around, kicked around, dropped, disappointed, and she wrote a book of her poetry. This person has stepped in the face of some of the strongest people on the earth, talking about children with a mind that's ready to be taught. And she has stood in front of them and led. And then she has faced her opposition head on. Sometimes they brought tears to her eyes, but she stood up tall. All right. So someone 4'11" that walks in a room that's 6'4" cannot be ignored. So Denise Lopes, our educator, how's this quote land on you?
Oh, all that. Kevin, thank you. Grand Rising, everybody. This quote is what I live by. I'm a big fan of The Secret. I don't know if you guys know the book, The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
It says, it says, ask, believe, and receive. So you have to ask and you have to be believing. So your faith has to be more than your fear. And you have to be ready to receive. So for me, that's what I live by. And I see it, I believe it, and I act on it. Because sometimes you ask for something, but you have to be ready. You have to prepare yourself. You have to do what you should be doing. You have to align yourself with what to receive. And another thing for me, God would never give you something that you're not able to handle. And God will give you what you need and not what you want. Because sometimes you want something, but that's not what you need in your life. And for me, that's how I live by. Like that's what I live by, and that's what I tell my students too. And I do a lot of affirmation with my students. And the one they like the most is I belong in every room I enter. They love that. And I am smart. I am blessed. I could do anything. That's my two affirmation for this year. And every time I forget, I go, Miss Lowe's, we didn't say our affirmation for today. And they're like, I have a test. And I'm every time before the test, I'm saying it. I am smart. I am blessed. I could do anything. And I belong in every room, because a lot of my students, sometimes they being discriminated against because of the color of the skin, but like their background, where they coming from. And they tell me, Miss Lowe's, when I say that, I know that I belong there, that nobody could take away what's for me. And believing and asking, it's a thing, but you need to believe first, and you need to be ready to receive it, because sometimes you want something you're not ready to, and God is not going to give it to you until you're ready for it. That's how it landed on me.
And that's why I got to go. That's why I do this show. Got to get the world ready for you, because the world's not ready for you. Truly, is not ready for you. And when you look at understanding the unanswered prayers, they still carry purpose. That's the reason why we pray every single day. It's the reason why we connect between belief, discipline, and perseverance. We all, each and every last one of us has overcome something, and building resilience through adversity. That's just every day. We do it as people of color, as people, women. We all step up every single day. And this group, we don't knock on doors. You guys kick it in. And no one has a bigger foot in kicking in a door, and no one has a bigger heart. And one of the wisest and kindest people that I've met on this planet calls you at 2:00 in the morning just to check and to see how you're doing, because they're up. They don't ask if you're up. They don't ask if you're asleep. just pick up the phone. I want to check in on you. Isn't that right, Miss PJ? So, PJ, I don't think we need a box of tissue for this one today. So, how's this?
No, I don't think so. Thank you. Thank you. So, when I saw this quote, I thought, oh, that's easy. It may be simple, but it wasn't easy. My only prayer is thank you for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And even Matthew, besides ask, seek, knock, he also spoke of God already knowing what we need before we even ask. So today's quote speaks to faith. But if there was such a thing as blind faith, it would be trust beyond asking, patience before seeking, gratitude in knowing that no matter what, God's got you. How could we know better than the force that created us what we need? Excuse me. I'm also reminded of the saying that more tears are shed over answered prayers than unanswered prayers. As this quote began to land on me, I searched to see whether others had walked this same spiritual path as I have. And they had. There was a 13th century German Dominican. His name was Meister Eckhart. And he once said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. So perhaps the highest prayer is not request, but communion. Presence, gratitude, surrender. The end.
Okay, I'm going to try not to throw out my back picking up the mic off the floor. But lucky for it's like a baton on the 4x1 relay. If your reactions are fast enough, the baton, once dropped, will pop back into your hands. Boom, caught the mic. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, to our listeners, when it gets to the point that our voice shares its quote, his quote, shares the quote, we're coming to the end of the show. I look at the fact, and someone had brought up the fact that I was surrounded by great warriors. I don't know what they call a woman warrior. It's the same thing. Let's just make it easy for everyone. I'm not going to divide it up and not going to find another way of identifying these people that come out and give their hearts every single day. I'm going to give you another title. I'm surrounded by disciples, the messengers of our faith, the messengers of our human race, the messages that the messengers that share their heart and their love with not only our children, but other people's children. I've got a niece, and I can't bring up her name, but she's on a warship, and she is a military officer. And I said this, and I'll say it out loud. If something happens to her, there's going to be hell to pay. Because, we're understanding the history of our countries and how wrongs have tried to be right. Taking lives is not right on either side. No matter what your disagreement is, no matter where you draw the property line, no matter how you wear your hair, no matter what love you choose, taking a life is not right. And to be governed is not to be a dictator or destroy. When it rains, why does it rain? because God is planting the seed to grow. And that's the reason why you can throw a dozen seeds on an open field, and no matter how contaminated the soil, that one seed will find a way to grow and it will rise up to the heavens. Same way each and every last one of us did. We all started out, on our backs and our knees, and before you know it, we're running through the living room, the dining room. And so when I speak to the co-host today, I can't do anything but honor him, because he made a sacrifice, and he made a sacrifice to participate and wear a uniform that the history did not honor his presence, did not honor his heart, and did not justify his sacrifice. Matter of fact, if he's anything like my grandfather fought in World War II, and a group of his platoon was left under a machine gun's nest, and they were left for dead. And I learned on my grandfather's death that he went and single-handedly dropped a grenade into a machine gun's nest and brought back the whole platoon, when his other soldiers that were lighter and brighter than him left him there to die. Our history has sacrificed our men. Our history has sacrificed our women, but our history has never sacrificed their own. So when I look at this quote, ask and you shall seek, I seek for love, compassion, and forgiveness. When you look at the fact that you knock on the door and you'll find another way to resolve our issues. And when I say look at a door that's open it to everyone and provide opportunity. I'm giving my closing notes, whatever. It just kind of hit me when I looked at Christopher's eyes and says, I respect you, my brother. He's a tall Texan. He's a grandfather. He's an example, poster child of what a husband is. We talked in private. He knows what sacrifice is. He knows what honoring his queen is all about. And he gives so much of his time to his friends and his family, and he brings everyone in. I feel taller today. So the voice of our show, if you don't mind giving us the quote, and then give us your interpretation, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you to everybody. I am always kind of embarrassed whenever anybody offers that thank you. And I'll honestly say, my 26 years has been probably one of the best 26 years of my life. I used to always label it like a kid being locked in a video store with a bag full of quarters. It was a pleasure for me and an honor to have served every single one of you for all those years. The quote, Gila keeps reminding me, the quote. And it's too bad Dr. Breakthrough is not here. He would probably give us a lot more on Matthew. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. This quote, as it relates to my life, I'm not exactly sure where I got the aversion of being a squeaky wheel, but at some point, there was always those who were asking for a particular thing were, dubbed the squeaky wheel. And we all know how that goes. The squeaky wheel always, gets service first. But I had an aversion to being the squeaky wheel. I took a look, though, at what really entails the ask. It isn't so much making a noise, saying, hey, I want this. It's more on what PJ said, where you have a want and a need. To want for something and ask for something, well, that's that squeaky wheel. But to need something, oftentimes you really don't need to even ask. It'll be provided for. All you need to do is be ready to receive. So often that ask for me is simply being ready to receive. And seek, I was told many years ago that you're sitting there with two eyes and two ears, and yet all I hear is your mouth. Okay? When we seek, we're seeking with our eyes, we're seeking with our ears, and just by sheer number, your mouth has very little to do. Seek, be observant, see, check out what's happening. Oftentimes, you'll see where that need of yours can be fulfilled without even having to ask for it. But again, seek, always be present, always be looking out for what's going to benefit not just you, but all those folks behind you who are waiting for you to open the door and keep it open for them. Hold that door. And that's how that quote lands on me. Seek and ye shall find.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to be repeating this today. Thanks to all my co-hosts for joining me today. Thank you for giving me your heart, your love, and your trust. This quote reminds me, and I'm going to say us, that faith requires action. Asking means having the courage to express your needs, express your hopes, share your dreams, and also stay committed to your prayers. Seek is meaning actively pursuing wisdom, healing and understanding, growth, and staying true to your purpose. Knocking means continue to show up, even when life's door has not even opened for you yet. This scripture teaches us about opportunity and answers those breakthroughs, and often the growth that comes through persistence and patience and belief and your unwavering faith. I scratch my head a little bit. I always tell young people, never stop growing. Never stop seeking your purpose. Never stop knocking on the doors that align with your faith and your calling. And when I speak to the adults, I said, life that does not always answer you immediately, but be persistent with your power. The good moments teach us gratitude. The difficult ones teach us strength. And every season of life carries a lesson designed to shape who you are and who you're becoming. Keep belief in growing. And like my guests, my co-hosts today, keep showing up. So when I talk about how this quote lands on me, I'm going to carry it on to the next person. And I'm going to give them my hand and say, you know something, my grandfather said, he says, I don't mind giving you a hand up. Neither do I. I'll speak for my grandmother, but I won't haul you around. Seek and you shall find. All right. So we come to that time of the show. And my grandfather has always given me Joe-isms. That's why I'm going to call my grandfather Joe-isms. His name is Joseph Phillips. He always said, when you get to a point in life where you can help someone else out, he said, it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And we say, what?
Fade to black. And don't forget to come back.
And don't forget to come back. If you want to find us, go to our YouTube page at RMK Productions and Network. If you like, subscribe. I don't care what you do, as long as you watch the show and you get something out of it. I'm not going to do what everyone else does. If you want to follow us, you follow us. It's your choice. If you want to share it, it's your choice. If you want to make a comment, I would tell you, be kind. All right, because we are human beings. And I also say, if you want to make a difference, find peace.
Welcome Motivation Sunday with Kevin and friends.